contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything, anything, anything. Well, I got mindless contentment. Yes, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment. Well, I got mindless contentment.
I know. I know.
I know, no, I know, no, no, I know. I know, no, I know, no, I know, no.
James, what's up, my brother?
Yes, I got mindless contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna
Do anything.
I don't wanna do anything.
All right. Nothing new there. James, what's up, brother? Cheers to you. We are, I'm just over here trying to extend Sunday for you, brother. I know it's probably not really working out well, is it? Oh, what a week, right? I did stream Friday, I guess, so whatever we did on that stream. Bunch of yapping. The anti-ICE protests have continued to ramp up. The ICE raids have continued to escalate. I think I mentioned in the Chud chat last night that the overall gun violence statistics in Chicago is now on the rise because of ICE. So I don't know how many handful of fatalities at their hands, thousands missing yet, or over 1,000 missing. No worries, James. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, football will do that. Thankfully, the Niners didn't play, so. Mac, what's up with you? Laura in the house. Yeah, I thought about getting some clips together. Laura ran some too late last night on Portland. Shit was a little bit crazier in Chicago, but there was a couple of fucking Charlie Kirk fake Christians at the Portland ICE facility. Jesus, those two were so. I should have got a clip of them. Those guys were something else. Hey, Sin. This National Security Presidential Memorandum is something. It's might get a little boring here in a minute. I start reading through this, but it's not super long, I guess. 2,000 words, somebody said. I don't know. But it's pretty fucking chilling. It's pretty damn chilling. I do get to reading that. I'm probably not going to be able to see you guys, but. And then I wanted to, I touched on a little bit the other night, the grievances in the Declaration of Independence and to the king, right? And how we are facing those exact issues with Trump at the moment. What the fuck happened to my thing now? Why did I get all... Just gotta see my wall back there. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious yesterday. Oh my god, she took a beating. She took it like a champ. So I'm going to go over that. Like I said, the NSPM-7, and some folks think that that is basically an executive order, but it's not, because executive orders can't be classified. And note the number 7. So this is the 7th NSPM that Trump has signed. And if you go look, you'll only find 5 other ones, because number 6 is classified. It's the way the law is. There's not much I can do. Isn't going to get us anywhere as me complaining about these secret presidential memorandums being, classified or being kept secret from the American people, right? And it's normally, we probably wouldn't put a lot of fucking energy into it, but we're not in normal times. And when you have a president working against, the majority of against all Americans, they just the Trump sect of America doesn't understand that he doesn't care for them at all. But maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. It's too late now. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And Trump's continued police state tactics. Though a judge did temporarily stop Trump from bringing National Guard into Portland, there had been some insider leaks about Trump's plans to send an elite army force to Portland. And obviously you can't do that shit. Oh, I think I shared with Mac this morning, or I did a short, or maybe it wasn't real short, but I streamed some memes, a meme stream, and shared a Legal AF post that was really good with General Hurling. All right, so I'm going to get into this because it's going to be kind of long. But this is really the kind of shit I love to do, or am really itching to do more of. And the only way I'm going to get better at it is to do it. So I can't see you guys for a while. Well, hold on, maybe. Oh, let me bring this up, though, for you folks, too. Well, at least it's never any surprise to you guys that I'm ill prepared. There we go. I don't know how well you'll be able to read it on the screen, but it's probably about as big as I'm going to be able to get it. All right. So this is released or signed on September 29th of this year. So a little over a week ago. Or a week ago exactly, I guess it'd be. Must have been last Monday. Not this past Monday. Friday before. Yes. Last Monday. So I'm not going to read through all this fodder. I'm going to read the beginning of it, but then I just want to get down to the actual wow. Okay. I'll read through this, but this isn't all of it. So, as President Trump stated, we are witnessing a new era of extreme political violence. That it's a culmination of sophisticated, organized campaigns of targeted intimidation, radicalization, threats, and violence designed to silence opposing speech, limit political activity, change or direct policy outcomes, excuse me, and prevent the functioning of a democratic society. Domestic terrorists have firebombed Tesla vehicles and dealerships. This is bullshit right off the bat. Those are criminals. They aren't domestic terrorists. And you know, I have no fucking sympathy for the people firebombing Teslas. But I understand the slippery slope that is just all of a sudden making all crimes fucking domestic terrorism. Because it changes a lot of things, and hopefully we'll get into some of that, but I don't know. This is going to be pretty long as it is. Firebomb Tesla vehicles and dealerships. Would-be assassins have tried to murder President Trump twice. I thought it was more than that, and tried to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Was that true? I think they arrested somebody in Kavanaugh's neighborhood with a rifle out on the street. Assassins in Minnesota have gunned down lawmakers and Catholic school children in two separate incidences. And just a few weeks ago, an assassin murdered Charlie Kirk in cold blood. Obviously, there's not going to be any reference to Trump encouraging the kidnapping or laughing and joking about the kidnapping of my governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Gabby Gifford. What about the shootings in Minnesota against the Democrats? But Trump encouraged that kind of shit. That's why we are where we are today, is because the inflammatory rhetoric of dear leader. Riots in Los Angeles and Portland reflect a more than 1,000% increase in attacks on U.S. immigration and customs enforcement ICE officers since January 21st, 2025. I have no idea about those stats. If I were you guys, you should just look them up. And my guess is that's bullshit, 1,000% increase. Compared to the same period last year, last week, a sniper opened fire from a nearby rooftop on on detainees that were here illegally. This sniper killed 3 illegal detainees, and they're saying it was an attack on ICE agents. But no ICE agents were killed, but yet 3 others were. Again, do I really have to say that no one condones fucking people getting on rooftops and shooting at anyone? Did you see the Portland ICE building last night with the fucking Fed agents up on the rooftop with rifles? Every time you have 50 of those stormtroopers walk out that gate, a good handful of them had some mighty fine weapons in their arms. Holy balls. It's just the rhetoric. And look, here he's naming, Pritzker, leaving 1 dead and 2 others critically wounded this past weekend, while Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson were villainizing ICE agents as Nazis and secret police. More than 2,000 rioters blocked access to one of the gates in front of the ICE processing facility in Chicago area, chanting, "Arrest ICE, shoot ICE," and attempting to forcibly and illegally trespass on federal property. Again, this is just Trump talking, and we know how bad he lies. I'm not saying there wasn't somebody saying shoot ICE. I don't condone that. I just want to be clear about that. We don't condone any violence against anyone on this channel. But right now, the violence is being perpetrated on the American people by federal agents. That isn't me inciting violence against them. That is me and thousands, millions of other people saying, these are the facts. The violence is coming from the right. You can listen to Trump, or you can find out what the truth is for yourself, which I suggest. And attempting to forcibly and illegally trespass on federal property, at least 1 mask, goggles, knee and elbow protection, and large quantities of what are the feds wearing? They're out there in riot gear. They have pepper ball guns, shields, batons, helmets, gas masks, body armor. Why are they coming out there like that? I think the protesters are trying to protect themselves. Because they know that those guys are just going to start beating them, pushing them around. They're going to knock the 68-year-old ladies on the ground and the 80-year-old men on the ground and the young women on the ground. And maybe they'll swat or arrest a couple fellas too. Who knows? But it seems like they really get shitty. I mean, I just seen from a right wing, while I would say he at least leans much more right than, being in the middle, he's got a pretty big channel. And he sat there and interviewed this young girl. She couldn't have been more than 23, 24 years old. And she showed her video and explained the whole scenario. And yeah, the feds just totally fucking dogged her bad, like just standing there. And as it was, one of the times the feds were backing back up into the facility. Protesters on the front line there were just chilling and doing their chants. And as they backed off, the one officer just reared up with his fucking bear mace or whatever it is, and bear spray, and fucking doused her. I mean, she was down for hours, I guess. Had to go shower, took her forever to get breathing right again. It's crazy. I mean, it was completely uncalled for. That's not, I mean, are they there to prevent violence and, vandalism of the building at least? Or are they going out there to antagonize and hurt these folks whenever they get a chance? My guess is the latter. These rioters have been well organized and appear to be well funded, Well, if anybody's watched and paid attention to any of those protests out there, they're not being funded very well. Again, this was something I wanted to get a clip of a few specific protesters. Those guys aren't overpaid if they're being paid. Believe me. So the riots in Los Angeles, Portland reflect, okay, I read that part, countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence, national security, presidential memorandum 7, DHS statement on targeted cats. All right, so I'm going to go to, because this is all just bullshit. You guys are welcome to read it. This is from the Department of Justice. But I'm going to go back to, I think I was, got it from the White House site. And it gets a lot more, it's far more detailed and dirty. And hey, why not get it right from the horse's ass? So again, right from the White House, as you see. I read that about the Brett Kavanaugh fantasy assassination, that, as far as I know, that there was nothing to indicate that was what was going on. A maniac running through his neighborhood looking for him with a rifle. I don't think that was an assassination attempt, but maybe. I don't know. So these campaigns often begin by isolating and dehumanizing specific targets to justify murder or other violent action against them. Dehumanizing. That's all Trump does. Calls the anybody that doesn't agree with him is a radical left evil doer or whatever. They do so through a variety of fora, including anonymous chat forums, in-person meetings, social media, and even educational institutions. God, this is so filthy, you guys, and I know you get it. I told you this is going to be long, but anybody, if you hang out here, you already have gotten used to that. This is what I do. If I can't help but, go over each one of these this way. Again, it says, and even in educational institutions where they are creating and, organizing these campaigns against Republicans or Christians, or we're going to find out, or what all Trump thinks that we have to focus on stopping that what he considers domestic terrorism. And you'll see it's all focused on everything that anybody should have the freedom to say and do here in the United States. Well, citizens, I guess. So again, just constantly attacking our educational institutions, right? Universities, basically, is what it'll come down to. These campaigns then escalate to organized doxing, where the private or identifying information of their targets, such as home address, phone numbers, and other personal information exposed to the public, explicit intent of encouraging others to harass. That's pure fucking right out of his rectum opinion. You cannot assume what someone's intentions are. You just can't. Not before the fact. And that's something else that this is going to come down to. This is a push towards stopping crimes before they happen. Now, how do you do that? And as in the case of several ICE agents in Los Angeles being doxxed, they should not be wearing masks. There should not be unidentified officers, because I really don't, I do the air quotes because I don't think you can consider them officers of the law if they're paranoid about identifying themselves. They should not be out there masked. I mean, I think there's a reason we have badges, right? Probably is what it comes down to clearly identify that they are law enforcement. And you wonder why they have problems? Well, who the fuck knows in today's world? If you got a couple idiots pulling up on you in a black SUV that are masked and have guns, you're just going to be okay with that, right? I mean, especially now, right? And I hope I just don't come off fucked up, but as a white guy, can you imagine, right? It's happening. And it doesn't have to be a white person, all right? But clearly that this is targeting, or easy for them to target anyone that isn't white, right? Certainly brown skin, maybe not black folks, but Mexicans, Latinos. Yeah. Can you imagine? That's what we're getting to, though, is that every one of us could have that happen. They could just roll up on you. What are you going to do? You think, well, fuck. These can't be ICE. These can't be federal agents. These guys must be thugs because I'm a white American citizen. It's so disgusting. It's burning me up. We have lost so much ground now with interracial race relations inside of our country, our society. And thankfully, so thankful that at a local level, like real life, on the ground in our lives, most of us, aren't going to let this change how we feel about each other. No matter how bad Trump and the fucking crazy ass racist administration wants us to be divided, most of us are going to fight hard to not be affected by the propaganda, right? The extreme hate speech, the campaign against, terrorizing American citizens. The campaign on terrorizing American citizens. So why are the ICE agents masked and unidentified? Why are their cars unmarked? Why are they masked? Why aren't they wearing badges? That's how criminals and thugs and gang members and mafia, that's how they operate, is in the shadows. The goal of these campaigns is to be obstructed, campaigns can be to obstruct the operations of the federal government as well as aid and abet criminal activity. The federal government is lawfully pursuing. The campaigns are coordinated and perpetrated by actors who have developed a comprehensive strategy to achieve specific policy goals through radicalization and violent intimidation. There are common recurrent motivations and indicia uniting this pattern of violent and terrorist activities under the umbrella of self-described anti-fascism. There are common recurrent motivations and indicia uniting this pattern of. So again, it's just more projection and just using these general terms like common recurrent motivations. What does that mean? Why, what do they mean? Give me a definition of a common recurrent motivation. These movements portray foundational American principles, support for law enforcement and border control, as fascist. That's nobody said at all that border patrol was fascist. You know what's fascist? Fucking propelling fucking armed fucking soldiers down onto a fucking residential apartment building. That's fascism. That is. Telling us we can't fucking have free speech. That's fascism. It is. I don't recall. This is the propaganda, you guys. Somebody find me a fucking statement, a fucking legit statement from anybody other than some idiot. Even find me one from some idiot on the ground that called Border Patrol fascism. That's just insane. He's lying to all of us. And sadly, a large part of this country, though a minority, is eating it up. To justify and encourage acts of violent revolution, this anti-fascist lie has become the organizing rally cry used by domestic terrorists to wage a violent. Who are the domestic terrorists? I mean, if you can say that, be so specific about the common recurrent motivations and the organizations and the people that are doing this, and someone justifying, encouraging acts of violent revolution, you should be able to point to it, right? Somewhere, someone, a group, small group, an organizing rallying cry used by domestic terrorists. If you have heard this organizing rallying cry, you should be able to point us to the domestic terrorists that are hollering this, right? But again, it's not, but it's coming. It's just going to be somewhat, well, I say somewhat, but it gets down to where it's just clear attack on anybody that isn't a Trumper. And yeah, it's going to say Democrat Party and the left, people on the left and liberals and blah, blah, blah. But really, it's a bigger group than that he hates. Common threads animating this violent conduct include anti-Americanism, we'll see how long the stream goes. So if anybody wants to be sweethearts and keep, because I can't see chat, and keep spreading the information about this. If anybody can find a definition for anti-Americanism, and then we can try and compare what that definition is to what Trump is saying here with his ghost boogeyman. Because there's no correlation. Nothing anybody on the left is saying that I see or hear, which is, I pay attention to a lot of shit, as a lot of you folks do. There's no anti-Americanism. Are you saying, I mean, seriously, go, I don't know, you guys probably can't see this shit. Same, within 2 sentences, he's using saying anti-fascism is a bad thing, and then accusing those folks of being anti-Americanism. Doesn't make sense, does it? You can't be both. You can't be anti-fascist and anti-American, I don't think. I mean, you can now with the leadership we have. Anti-capitalism, again, I think we've always had a large percent, a pretty big percent or slice of Americans that aren't big supporters of capitalism, and for good reason. It's a system that only works if all parties involved are, honest. I, for one, am all about capitalism. It's sad, though, that it's a great way for people to continue to be, for the little guys, for the common folks to continue to get screwed. Screwed unlubed. Anti-Christianity, so we no longer have freedom of religion in this country. You don't get to, because if you are anything but a Christian, that's what Trump is trying to say, is that you are anti-Christian. Well, maybe that's true. And why is that bad? We aren't a Christian nation. I know a lot of you folks like to think we are, but we're not. If you go back and look at the original 13 colonies, they were separated by their religions. It wasn't where they came from necessarily. I mean, I'm sure that was part of it, but there no history lessons from TV. 13 original colonies were separated by their religions, by their religious practices. That's what has made us great. We are not a Christian country. We are a country of freedom, of religious, or country with religious freedoms. Whatever you want to do, if you want to worship or if you don't. So again, anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity, and we're going to still get into more who these folks are that are supposedly perpetrating these things that Trump somehow thinks he just made illegal, because it's not illegal. I'm just telling you folks, it's not illegal to be anti-American if that's really what someone is. Nobody I know. Or anti-capitalism. I might know a few people that think we can do better or, fix the capitalist system. Be great. Anti-Christianity. Those are all fundamental American freedoms. Support for the overthrow of the United States government. What does that mean? What about January 6th? Oh my God, I didn't plan for some of this stuff. That's fucking disgusting. This is the president writing this shit or whatever, dictating this part of it. Support for the overthrow of the United States government. Where's anybody tried to do that? When has there been any organization on the left to try and overthrow duly elected officials anywhere, let alone at the top? It hasn't happened. And I know you guys know this, and even the fucking folks on the right, some of them know it, and you're too spineless to fucking stand up. What are you waiting for? They came for the immigrants, but I wasn't an immigrant, so I didn't speak up. They came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't speak up. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up. That's where you're at, Trumpers. Well, we're on that path. I care about you more than Trump does. And I don't really give two shits about you anymore, so, yeah. Extremism on migration, race, and gender, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. And who gets to decide what traditional American views are? President Trump? The Department of Justice? Kash Patel? Kristi Noem? The bitch that shoots animals in the face, puppies in the face? Does she get to decide what traditional American values are? As described in the order of September 22nd, 2025, designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, the groups and entities that perpetuate this. See, now, if it's a group, the groups and entities that perpetuate this extremism have created a movement that embraces and elevates violence to achieve its policy. Again, if it's a group, can't we point? Shouldn't there be members or people who participate in this group? I mean, how can you say there's a group if you don't have or see or have some sort of collaborative, bunch of individuals? So who are those individuals? Been asking this forever. And entities. What does entity mean again? It's in just a nice little big ass box that's empty. That's what it is. It's got a lot of fucking cool, pretty yellow labels on it. Including justifying additional assassinations. For example, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin engraved the bullets used in the murder with so-called anti-fascist rhetoric. So since he brought up Charlie Kirk, and I doubt any Trumpers will be watching this shit very much, but do you know that he supposedly reassembled the gun on the roof, left the screwdriver that he took the gun apart and put it back together with on the roof, left the screwdriver, the only tool he had, on the roof. How did he put the gun back together in the woods? Did he have a second screwdriver? Was he that prepared? And if so, why didn't he leave the screwdriver in the woods with the gun and the towel and everything else? You Trumpers are getting fucking dick dogged by your own fucking administration. And you're too fucking stupid and just like in need of, you have too big a daddy issues and need Daddy Trump for you to question it. Yes, sir. No, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Doesn't sound wacky at all. He took the gun apart on the roof, left the screwdriver on the roof, jumped down, within 2 or 3 minutes was across the street in the woods, put it back together without the screwdriver, because that's where they got the DNA from. They didn't get the DNA, they said, off a gun when it was 95 degrees out. He would have been sweating his balls off, right? Maybe nerves might make you sweat a little bit, but certainly 95-degree heat would, right? You just murdered somebody, wouldn't be DNA all over that gun? A lot of crazy stuff about that. I wonder who really is, where the conspiracy came from for Kirk's murder. Certainly wasn't from the left, was it? And I wonder why the Trump administration and the FBI are covering this up and creating some sort of fucked up. I mean, is there any news about this investigation? Or do they think that they have it fucking settled? This Tyler Robinson still hasn't made any statements that I'm aware of. Isn't cooperating at all. But you guys hang in there. It'll make no difference because Charlie's dead now, and he's been used, unfortunately, as some sort of fucking, catalyst to rage against the left. The United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence so that the law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in violent political acts. Through this comprehensive strategy, you could say comprehensive strategy, or you could say invasion of privacy. The United States requires a national strategy to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence so that law enforcement can intervene in criminal conspiracies before they result in violent political acts. Now, I'm all right with, or understand, and am all right with some of that, right? Thankfully, that's how we caught the folks that were trying to kidnap and murder Gretchen Whitmer and her family. But through this comprehensive strategy, which is going to be an invasion of privacy at some point, law enforcement will disband and uproot networks, entities, and organizations that promote organized violence. We already have these exact, I'm drawing on myself, these exact things or laws on the books, right? We already have laws that cover all of this. This is an opportunity for Trump to spew more hate and increase and incite violence against American citizens, period. This is basically, well, I mean, it changes nothing, this memorandum. The question is exactly what it was before this, and that it's how are they going to enforce these things. That's where the rubber's going to meet the road, and that's where shit's going to get really yucky. Let me reread that last sentence of that paragraph. Through this comprehensive strategy, law enforcement will disband and uproot networks, entities, and organizations that promote organized violence, violent intimidation, conspiracies against rights, and other efforts to disrupt the functioning of a democratic society. Section 2, investigating domestic... What time is it? Section 2, investigating domestic terrorist organizations. The National Joint Terrorism Task Force and its local offices, collectively JTTFs, shall coordinate and supervise a comprehensive national strategy to investigate, prosecute, and disrupt entities and individuals engaged in acts of political violence and intimidation designed to suppress lawful political activity or obstruct the law. Lawful political activity, like protesting? This strategy shall include the investigatory and prosecutorial measures set forth in this section. Jesus Christ, why do they do this to me with these big old words? Can't we just keep shit simple for TV? The JETFAs shall investigate potential federal crimes relating to acts of recurring radicalized persons for the purpose of political violence, terrorism, or conspiracy against rights or the violence, deprivation of any citizen's rights. Really, again, like propelling soldiers down onto a residential apartment building handcuffing and zip tying children to each other and dragging them half naked out into the street. Those kinds of citizens' rights we protected or no? Institution and individual funders and officers and employees of organizations that are responsible for, sponsor, or otherwise aid and abet the principal actors engaging in the criminal conduct described in Section A and B of this section. Subsections A and B of this section. Non-governmental organizations and American citizens residing abroad or with close ties to foreign governments, agents, citizens, foundations, or influence networks engaged in violence of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or money laundering by funding, creating, or supporting entities. See, again, these are all, is what it's going to comes down to is that I don't know if it's like a soft prep or however they say that, soft rollout, but we already, as you guys know, we already have laws that cover all these concerns. It's how Trump is going to, he's just banging on the fucking fear drum, right? He is continuing to try and scare the hell out of his fucking lunatic base, and it's working. And so that's how he thinks he's going to get away with this shit, but he doesn't understand that our court systems, thankfully, aren't ran by his lunatic base. All right, I'm going to read through a little bit more of this. Then I'm going to have to do a BRB. So institutional and individual founders, employees, I read that, didn't I? Non-governmental organizations and American citizens residing abroad or with close ties to foreign governments, agents, citizens, foundations, or influence networks engaged in violence of the Foreign Agents Registration Act. So if you're an American citizen and you live abroad, you're going to be, since Charlie Kirk was killed, they've just ramped up everything on us anyways. There's all kinds of new algorithms for post online. I don't know exactly how tight they are on just like sitting in a chat and chatting, a live chat, but any sort of groups on like, and I don't do any of these other platforms, but Instagram or whatever, I don't know how that one works, or TikTok, but Facebook, anything you post. So there's all kinds of new keywords that are going to, that there's been algorithms built to catch. So that's what, that's what they're going to do. I mean, not that I have anything to worry about. Nobody will ever see nothing I have do on this channel reaches anyone. So. Or money laundering by funding created. Yeah. Read that. The JITFAs shall consult and coordinate with executive departments and agencies as needed to determine whether such agencies can apply existing authorities or exercise their own authorities. See, so now you're going to get into where they're going to allow these departments. That's kind of what I think Hegseth or Nazi Miller talking about, taking the restraints off law enforcement, allowing them to do their job. Whatever the fuck that. Well, I know what that means. That means beat them up, bash them up. The JITFA's investigation and relevant prosecutions of political violence. The JITFA's may, to the extent permitted by law, request operational assistance from and coordinate with law enforcement partners when investigating domestic terrorism. Gosh darn it! Now I forgot what this ordinance is that was like a 157M or some crazy, I don't know. Is what it does is it helps release funding to local law enforcement in about 40 states, in conjunct from the federal coffers, I guess, federal law from the ICE or probably from DHS, specifically to help combat or to help round up folks that are here illegally, supposedly. But we know what that's going to lead to. It's just going to lead to a lot of folks who are innocent, their rights being violated, and the shit's going to get blown off, or it's going to get, hey, this is the unfortunate, side effects of having to keep our streets safe, is that American citizens are, some of us are going to have our civil rights violated, right? Like that's okay or something. The Attorney General shall issue specific guidance that ensures domestic terrorism priorities include political motivated terrorist acts such as an organization, doxing campaigns, swatting, rioting, looting, trespassing, assaulting, destruction of property, threats of violence, and civil disorder. This guidance shall also include an identification of any behaviors, facts, patterns, recurrent motivations, or other indicia. I gotta get that. I'm fucking blowing that word. Can somebody fucking give me the hard pronunciation on that? Common to organizations and entities that coordinate these facts in order to direct efforts to identify and prevent potential violent activity. The Secretary of the Treasury, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall make available all resources to the maximum extent permitted by law to identify and disrupt financial networks and fund domestic terrorism and political violence. That's a hoot. I mean, that's the whole thing that these people are being fucking paid is a hoot. It's like if somebody, look, I was putting it out there right now, Mr. Soros, if you can cover my costs to go down and protest and go over and protest in Portland or Chicago, hit me up. My email's on my chan. I'd be all about it. I would be all about it. I mean, things are going to be getting slow here after fall cleanup, so if I'm just putting it out there. TV is available. Be an independent protester or whatever. All right. Let me catch up with Chad a second, if I can. If there's even anybody here. I'm surprised I didn't drive everyone off with that fucking shit. But I'm going to get more into it. I ain't done yet. I just need to go do a BRB. I want to make a cocktail because that's the kind of guy I am. I see Human and A Bear has joined us. I think everybody else I might have waved at. So cheers to you guys. Yeah. Hang tight. Give me like 5 minutes or so, as you know me, and I'll be right back. All right. And I'm back. Max says he cooked and ate while listening to me read. Sweet. Human says just like all the maggots on January 6th, apparently the FBI only had to whisper in their ears to make them all go apeshit. Exactly. He was a perfect MAGA boy until he met a trans person and was instantly radicalized. Weak mind much? Yeah, it's... Well, we know. I don't know what else to do. Keep hammering down on the shit. Try and bring as much, relevant and, calm, cool, and collected facts to the stream as I can. And it's not like, anybody thinks I'm breaking news or anything. But yeah, it's quite a shit show. And I just think that, look, I know how I learn. When we learn shit the hard way, it's usually because we have to keep revisiting it, right? We have to keep revisiting the problem. That's all we're doing here is continuing to revisit the problem that would be really stupid for us to ignore, because we see what happens when it gets ignored. This is where when we have even just a number of folks or percentage of our society that chooses to ignore what the truth is, we see how it can affect all of us, even if they are a minority. And sure, people, I can hear you chuds crying now. We what do you mean minority? We had the majority of the vote. Correct, you did. That's not the majority of America. Putin, what's up, brother? B says, I cleaned my refrigerator. I'm embarrassed to say it needed it. Yeah, they always are needing to be cleaned. I'm trying to bring it up, Putin. Hold on. Yeah, it's not gonna let me here. Make sure I have some volume for you guys. All right.
La migra!
All right. I can't watch it. I knew that was good. That's why I didn't want to. I accidentally clicked it again. I'm not going to watch him get body slammed. I have no desire to watch him beat the shit out of that poor guy. Thanks for the share, though, Putin. I know, dude. You know I've been watching the shit, brother. This is what Trump wants more of. So back to this fucking crazy ass, and I don't know if we're going to get to the Declaration of Independence grievances tonight. I mean, I'm definitely going to get to it sooner or later. Probably the very next stream if I don't get to it tonight. But it's pretty, you know, I want to say, keep wanting to say similarities, but it's much more than that. It's like the grievances against the king in the Declaration of Independence are exactly just word for word almost what we're dealing with Trump. So back to this memorandum, again, that folks think is basically an executive order, but it's not. This one happens to be public. This is the 7th NPSM of that Trump has signed. The 6th one you can't find because it's classified. So we went through the, yeah. This is where it gets crazy. I went through, I think I just started reading this. Let's start at the top. The Secretary of the Treasury is in coordination with the Attorney General shall make available all resources to the maximum extent permitted by law to identify and disrupt financial networks that fund domestic terrorism and political violence. The Secretary, acting through the Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Office of the Department of the Treasury, shall deploy investigative tools, examine financial flows, and coordinate with partner agencies to trace illicit funding streams. So they're going to, be trying to make some sort of connection between anybody on the left that probably might have money, that, this could be through campaign funding, right? That they're going to somehow say that that's funding terrorism or a terrorist organization or Antifa, right? They're going to try anywhere that there's money being spent on the left in like some sort of public way, like campaigns or just maybe even supporting nonprofits or, you know what I mean, humanitarian work, for fuck's sake. That's all that shit's going to be targeted now. It's already is. They're going to be looking at every fucking thing they can. And of course they would love to hang Soros with, hang on Soros, the whole, Antifa, again, whoever the fuck that is, being funded by him, whatever that means. These people, they're out there doing their own. It's more grassroots right now than it was during the George Floyd protests. And I mean, all you have to do is go back and dig into night after night of the protests in Minneapolis and see that there was huge groups of instigators, and none of us fucking agree with those folks, and I'm someone who's always posing the question, how long do we sit here and take it before we physically fight back? Because if we wait too long, then it's too late. And of course, it's a tough thing, right? But so none of us that are for freedom of speech and the freedom to protest condone any of this, the vandalism or violence. Am I up in arms about Macy's being fucking looted? Not really. I don't think there's anything funny about. I just don't. Catch the people and lock them up. That's my thoughts on crime. The Secretary, acting through the Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Office of the Department of the Treasury. So the Secretary acting through the Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Office of the Department of the Treasury. So a separate office shall deploy investigative tools, examine financial flows, and coordinate with partner agencies to trace illicit funding streams. The Secretary shall provide guidance for financial institutions to file suspicious activity reports and investigate, there's that word again, of indications, I guess, of illicit funding streams to ensure such activity is rooted out at the source and referred for law enforcement actions as appropriate. So the Secretary shall provide guidance for financial institutions to file suspicious activity reports. So is what's going to happen is the Secretary of the Treasury is, going to, they're going to be leaning on banks, right, for private fucking statements is what it's come for from anyone on the left. So they'll just go through and find, I don't know, George Soros. They'll go to his bank and say, for the betterment of our country, for the safety of our people, we're not looking to violate Mr. Soros's rights or the right to privacy. We just want you inside the bank to be able to file these reports. And this is what we're looking for. So, yeah. The Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service shall take action to ensure that no tax-exempt entities are directly or indirectly financing political violence. So the Commissioner of the IRS shall take action to ensure that no tax-exempt entities like charities, churches, whatever, are directly or indirectly financing political violence or domestic terrorism. So what do they mean by indirectly? Like, do they mean knowingly or just like, completely, where it's just a common connection? So again, we're going to see, says shall take action to ensure that no tax exempt entities, so like churches, NGOs, whatever. Isn't that what Turning Point USA was doing? Weren't they like some sort of Christian-based organization that was inciting violence against the left? Isn't that exactly what that paragraph refers to as an entity exactly like Turning Point USA? I think so. I'm not going to, I don't have any desire to shy away from what a piece of shit Charlie Kirk was. If somebody wants to drag me into court and say, oh, you can't talk like that, TV, you're inciting violence. It's like, well, I'm not. And I'd be happy to provide all the fucking video footage and fucking quotes from Kirk showing what a racist, dogged piece of shit he was. All federal law enforcement agencies with investigative authority shall question and interrogate, within all lawful authorities, individuals engaged in political violence or lawlessness regarding the entity or individual organizing such actions and any related financial sponsorships of those actions prior to adjudication or initiation of a plea agreement. The investigation shall be prioritized crimes such as the following: assaulting federal officers or employees or otherwise engaging in conduct prescribed by 18 U.S.C. 111, conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy to commit offense under blah, 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 soliciting So it just goes down and names all these ordinances that they are going to try and use to. But again, it's all these concerns, some legitimate, are all covered by law right now anyway. So it's not like this reads as if though Trump is writing laws, which we all know he can't anyways. All federal law enforcement agencies with investigative authority shall adopt strategies similar to those used to address violent crime and organized crime to disrupt and dismantle entire networks of criminal activity. Yeah, that's weird. It says all federal law enforcement shall adopt strategies the same as used to investigate violent crimes and disrupt. Man, I don't know. That's weird. That seems like it's just kind of redundant, isn't it? So the Department of Justice designation. In the course of and as a result of the investigations directed by Section 2 of this memorandum, the Attorney General may recommend that any group or entity whose members are engaged in activities meeting the definition of domestic terrorism under 18 U.S.C. 233-1 or 2331 merits designation of a domestic terrorist organization. The Attorney General shall submit a list of any such group or entities to the President through the Assistant of the President and Homeland Security Advisor. Yeah, that's so we have to look at obviously whatever the official by law description is of domestic terrorist. And now any individual that could be found guilty or be under investigation for domestic terrorism, just under investigation, any group that individual is associated with is going to be fair game. Right? So if you have a job, you're bought. If you're a fucking, crazy lunatic a crazy lunatic domestic terrorist, and you have a job, it's possible your employer would be investigated, right? Anybody or anything that you're associated, especially any group or entity. So it says domestic terrorism as a national priority area. The Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall designate domestic terrorism a national priority area and develop appropriate grant programs to allocate funding for law enforcement partners to detect, prevent, and protect against threats arising from this area. Who thinks Peter Thiel will be in on that? Anybody? Raise your hand. Think Palantir is going to be in on that? That's what they do. That's all he's done is create policing surveillance systems. General provision. It's fucking, I don't know. It's bad. Nothing in this memorandum shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect. So general provisions, nothing in this memorandum shall be construed or impaired or otherwise affect. The authority granted by law and executive department or agency or head thereof. The functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary and administrative or legislative proposals. The memorandum shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. The memorandum is not intended to and does not create any rights or benefits, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law, or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, and entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other persons. The Secretary of Homeland Security is authorized and directed to publish this memorandum in the Federal Register. All right. Let me get that fucking shit off my screen. Ooh, doggy. That was a little bit of a read. Angela, what's up, sister? Cheers to you. P-Dubs in the house. Oh, Putin. Awesome. Putin says they left him and didn't take him in. The crowd kept him from being taken away. Well, I'm sorry I didn't watch the rest of it. I just can't. I wasn't ready to watch that guy get his ass kicked. It was seriously starting to make my blood boil and my eyes well up. Because it's just too much. It really is. And I don't give a shit if people think if I'm fucking weak or whatever it is, but I have a soft heart. I might have a big fucking mouth, but I got just a big a heart. And that shit, I'm a fucking soft-hearted guy. Any of you known me for a long time might have caught me tear up on stream once. It's fucking killing me. And I don't want to I'm not trying to make this about me. I love you guys and trust you and love talking to you. And I imagine you all feel the same way. Like, it's just got to be so fucking hard sometimes at night to know this shit's happening. I don't know. It's really fucking hard to stay out of trouble. Oh yeah, Angela says Bondi needs to lose her law license. It's a fucking 100% shit show right now, sister. There's just no doubt about it. It's as bad as it's been. I mean, we're at the worst of it, and it's probably gonna get worse than it is right now. Angela says this is what ICE is doing, creating chaos so they can say, "See, the National Guard." Yeah, I agree. But I think I talked to a few people about this, Ange, Mighty and Jim maybe, and it's like, and I totally get, and I'm with you guys. You know, I am a nonviolent person, but I think 100% we need to be. Anybody who wants to go out there and protest, I would do nothing but encourage them to do that. And yeah, it's going to be like, you're going to have to be on your best behavior because you're going to be under scrutiny. I mean, they have fucking agents on the roofs of these ICE facilities filming constantly. You guys are probably, Gnome's already putting out fucking propaganda videos with the clips. You know what I mean? They're slicing them up and fucking taking shit out of context, and there you go. I'm not surprised. But yeah, there's a certain amount of folks, Angela, that are gonna make this harder for us, right? Like, they're gonna go. There's a very, very small amount of folks, but it's a large enough number that, or very small percentage, but a large enough number of individuals that is gonna give Trump reason, or not good reason, but so-called reason to continue to do this. I agree with you 100% on that, you know, they're going to fucking take the bait. Yeah, exactly. Protest peacefully. Patty says the worst is when you hear children crying for their mom or father. I know. Well, the reason why I think I had it, they couldn't finish watching that clip that Putin shares because the ICE agents fucking bust in the window with the 1-month-old baby in the car. I don't know how that guy. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's always been instinct. I'm no badass. Far from it. It's always been instinctual when it came to my kids. Like, I would have just fucking lost it. There wouldn't have been no control. I wouldn't have been staying in the car. I'd have been out there fucking swinging. And I'm not, I hope that doesn't sound, I mean, it's more that I would probably be an idiot than a tough guy, right? But that's how it'd go down. I don't know how people restrain themselves. Ange says they want people to be violent and there will be outside agitators brought in to do just that. Yeah, exactly. See, Angela makes a good point that it's going to be just like I mentioned it about Minneapolis, the George Floyd protests. I'm not saying that there weren't folks on the right that were going in pretending to be liberals or Antifa or whatever and causing havoc. It was literally extreme left, small extreme left groups of folks that were going in and causing problems, right? With the protests, which a lot of the protests, you guys know I streamed them. Hundreds of thousands of people marching every weekend peacefully, right? But there was still those late night occurrences. But to Angela's point, this time around, there are going to be extreme right fascist groups that are gonna infiltrate or get into these protests and cause havoc, and they're either gonna incite the anti-ICE protesters that are there, or they're just gonna go in and stir shit up with the ICE agents or feds themselves, right? Yeah, right on. Angelo says that's exactly what they did here. Yep. Dave says the wealth of the top 1% of Americans are now worth over 52 trillion thanks to Donnie's tax cuts for the rich. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's terrible, Dave. Like, like Elon Musk he has more money than the bottom 52% of our country. That's fucked up, dude. He literally has more money than more than half of our fucking country of 350 million Americans. I don't know. Trump just created the first trillionaire with his tax break, that's for sure. It's coming. We don't need multi-billionaires in this world, not in this country. Yeah, I'm all about that kind of fucking social legislation. Absolutely 100%. You heard me right. You don't have to give me a goddamn dime of fucking Elon or Bezos or any of these fucking useless fucks money. They don't have any need for it. There's no fucking reason for us to have people with billions and billions of dollars. Couple billion, 10 billion or less, whatever. Give it back to the people that helped you fucking make that money, you piece of shit. Dave says, Hegseth said Trump is too fat to be commander-in-chief. Not only that, Vance has too bushy of a face to be commander-in-chief. Putin says they already caught Joey Gibson, Patriot Prayer Grip, GRP. Is that right? Oh, Patriot Prayer Group, maybe? Him and his girlfriend and another dressed up in black. Oh, black, they're calling the fucking garb, right? I just learned that term the other night, Putin. Watching, last night, maybe watching Marcado. I didn't know what black was. I guess it's when you dress in all black. I've been doing black bloc since I was fucking since the 80s. So he said they've already trying to start trouble in recent ICE protests. Yeah, that for sure. You know that's part of the plan. Yeah, that was in Portland this past week. Right on. I don't think I heard about that. The name Joey Gibson isn't familiar to me. I guess must be some sort of well-known far-right influencer. I mean, I guess I did get through that, but I swear that is still, I seen another breakdown of that memorandum that was much more detailed. I'll probably be going over it more anyways. I did want to yap about the grievances and the Declaration of Independence, but I don't think I'll save that for the next stream too, because it'll be a lot to get into, and I'll have to make some comparisons with, I'm going to have to get together some Trump quotes and presser clips probably, just so it can really fucking press him right to it. So other than that, did you guys have a good weekend? I know it's been crazy. I didn't get to talk about, I didn't do anything on the fucking, well, maybe yapped a little bit with some of you folks about the generals meeting. What is that called anyways? I forget. NASCAM or I forget. That's not right, but God damn it. Some weird fucking acronym. I mean, it's let me share this legal AF with you guys. I just don't watch Midas Touch that much because, for one, I pay attention to a lot. I try to pay attention to more smaller influencers. I hope I don't start referring to people as influencers. I can't stand that term. But I do watch Legal AF on occasion, and this one was particularly good. So it has General Hurling, who we've all seen on CNN or whatever. Lieutenant General, retired. It's a very good episode. It's on the whole general's fucking meeting or whatever, right? So he explains to a lot in pretty good, like he gives, like I wouldn't say I come from a military family. I have a few folks that have spent so far their whole lives in public service, right? Or in government service. So and I just was not aware of exactly how this kind of stuff works. So it's good in that aspect if you're into that kind of boring logistics type thing. Hold on, Angela, and I'll pull it up. I don't know. All right. This fucking beachfront home of South Carolina judge, ex-senator burned to the ground, injuring 3. An inferno ripped through the waterfront home of South Carolina judge and her Democratic ex-senator husband on Saturday, leaving 3 people hospitalized, according to authorities and reports. And it looks like during the day, right? So Circuit Court Judge Diana Goodstein's Edisto Beach home went up in flames around midday, sending plumes of black smoke into the air and forcing her and her husband, former Dem State Senator Arnold Goodstein. Oh, for fuck's sake. Thank you. To jump from the first floor to escape the blaze. Holy shit. Arnold Goodstein, along with 2 additional occupants, were rescued by several neighbors and paramedics from a marshy, remote area behind the 3-story home. Resident Tom Peterson told the outlet. The individuals were reached by emergency workers in a kayak, according to the St. Paul's Fire District. One person was air evacuated to the Medical University of South Carolina, and the other 2 occupants, who have not been identified, were brought to the Medical University of South Carolina on ground, according to Captain K.C. Campbell with the Colleton County Fire Rescue. I'm really struggling reading tonight, ain't I? Sources close to Goodstein's family confirmed Arnold was airlifted after breaking multiple bones in his hips, legs, and feet. Jesus Christ. After escaping from the 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. Why was that necessary? Diane Goodstein, 69, had been walking on the beach with her dog when the flames swallowed the home in the lush. Oh boy, something sketchy there. I'm just saying. Told the Post and Carrier the condition of all 3 escapees wasn't immediately known. So she was on the beach. Her husband, obviously there and injured, and 2 other occupants. Keep us up to date, Angela. If you think about it. See if there's any ill goings on with that fire. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's odd that it was during the day, I guess. And that it could go up that quick before like somebody inside the house could have called. And that's the part I think is suspicious, is that it was the middle of the day and not that the 2 occupants, or 3 occupants, I guess, at the time, couldn't have been sleeping. But holy shit, I mean, in probably a big house, but man, to go up like that, to not have been able to detect a fire. I mean, what about smoke alarms? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit odd. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be. Dave, I don't think Dave's expecting. If Dave's going to give birth to anything, it's going to be a big old bowl of ramen noodles. Aren't you, Dave? You got a big old fucking... Dave has a ramen bump. Ange says scroll to the middle of this video. Oh, I think I'm not subscribed to him. I thought maybe I was. It sounds familiar. I wouldn't doubt if I've been to this channel a couple times. Yeah, I should be all right. I'm learning. I got screwed by a fucking protest streamer the other night. It's all good. I'm learning. I'm feeling my way around. I'm able to use some of this stuff if I do it right, as long as I yap and comment on it. Angela, whereabouts, sister?
Hospital as his house explodes.
Democratic hands, there'll be committee chairs that'll be able to hold hearings, and this is the last thing he wants. So this little...
All Democrats understand that millions and millions of their constituents are about to be priced out of their health care. I was in California last week in Oceanside and in Anaheim. Average families of four are going to see the premiums go up by $900 to $1,000 a month. No one can afford that, and that's going to happen all across the country. So I think all my colleagues understand the crisis. We need a president who can act like an adult, who can come to the table and negotiate an end to their self-imposed healthcare crisis. Right now, we don't see that. We see Trump out on the golf course. We see the speaker telling his House colleagues not to even come to session, that there's no work for the federal government to do, apparently. That's completely unacceptable. And in addition to the need to restore healthcare affordability for people, we need to make sure that any agreement that we reach with Republicans, they will honor, because right now they're telling us, you can reach an agreement with us, but we're simply going to withhold any money that's important to you, any programs that are important to you. And as for the speaker telling you or not telling you his position on the president threatening mass layoffs of federal employees, there's no one forcing him to do that.
But now things just got even more insane. That's right, a top Democrat was just rushed to the hospital as his house explodes. Take a look at today's top story.
Jesus.
You can hear this thing burning.
Jesus Christ.
Tonight, shocking news out of South Carolina, where the beachfront home of Circuit Court Judge Diana Goodstein was completely destroyed in a violent inferno. Officials say the blaze erupted around midday Saturday at Goodstein's residence in the gated Jeremy K community on Edisto Beach. Within moments, flames engulfed the three-story home, sending thick black smoke into the sky and forcing multiple occupants to flee for their lives. Judge Goodstein's husband, former Democratic State Senator Arnold Goodstein, was among those trapped inside. He was forced to leap from the first floor to escape, breaking multiple bones in his legs, hips, and feet. Neighbors and emergency workers used kayaks to rescue him and two other occupants from the marshy area behind the home. One victim was airlifted to the Medical University of South Carolina, while the other two were transported by ground. Their conditions remain uncertain tonight. Judge Goodstein herself, 69, was walking her dogs on the beach at the time of the explosion and returned to find her family home in ruins. She has served as a South Carolina judge since 1998, while her husband represented Charleston County as a Democrat in both the House and Senate during the 1970s.
Wow. So it exploded. It wasn't like just a fire started. That makes a little bit more sense. Like I was just trying to wrap my head around how it could have fucking gone up so fast before those folks could get out. But an explosion makes a lot more sense for sure. Sorry, just laughing with Dave, not at him, with him. Fucker. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I was wondering. Angela says that isn't just a little fire, it's out of control. Again, being during the day, I'm like, how the fuck did they not have a chance to get out? I mean, what happened how were they just so taken by surprise or caught off guard where the whole house, where they were forced to get out jump out windows? Yeah, so I guess the fact that, well, that article or whatever clip said that it exploded, and that makes much more sense. if something in the house had fucking actually blown up, it could have certainly, I guess, if it was a gas leak and there was gas going all through the house first or half the house and then it ignited, yeah, that would make it a lot harder, I guess. I suppose that would cut down your available exits. I did not yet, Putin. I didn't even know that it was the Navy's 250th anniversary. It's bad on me, right? Considering how much I love and respect the Navy and have my huggy-buggy family members having served us there in the Navy. No, I'm sure I will, though, brother, for sure. Yeah. Maybe I better make note of that. I'm sure it was probably absolutely fucking... I don't have... Putin, you give me some words. How do you describe, other than clown boy? Describe for TV President Trump's fucking speech to the Navy today. All right. I made note. I'm making notes, you guys. And if I leave them on my desk, they will get addressed eventually. He is insane, dude. That's why I'm saying. Putin, I know, like the other day, brother, for whatever reason, sometimes it irritates me that you're such a voice of reason, but, like, and it's funny because I know it's probably just my projection, but, like, I feel like Putin needs to get fucking worked up a little bit more, but I know his heart. He ain't into all that fucking stupid bullshit Trump's doing either, but fuck, dude. He is insane. Oh, what was I saying? That, yeah, you encouraged me or gave me, brought me down a little bit the other day. I mean, calmed me down, I guess, with my concerns about this getting really violent fast. Like, you feel like, it's just going to be impossible for Trump to follow through with a lot of this shit as long as we still have somewhat of a fucking court system in place, right? Or judicial system outside of Bondi's reach. It says here are some choice quotes. President Trump says, I was president in 2016 and then they rigged the election on me. And then we caught him, didn't we? He was never president in 2016, though, right? And they rigged the election on me, and then we caught him, didn't we? Well, Putin is fucking... I did listen to his speech at the Assembly of Generals. Holy fuck, man. I think I went on about it Friday. It's like, for fuck's sake, how can you be so unaware of yourself, so self-unaware? It's fucking crazy. Yeah, like, dude, like, all of us have that voice, that little voice in our head that would be screaming its ass off. Shut the fuck up now. It's fucking crazy. Continuing on with the Trump quotes. The problem with Vietnam, we stopped fighting to win. We would have won easily. We would have won Afghanistan easy, but we got politically correct. We're not politically correct anymore, just so you know. Anymore, just so you understand. Yeah. Let me read that again. Trump says the problem with Vietnam is we stopped fighting to win. We would have won easily. We would have won Afghanistan easy, but we got politically correct. We're not politically correct anymore, just so you understand. Laura says, thanks, TV, for the informative stream. Patty, I will most likely just lurk on your stream. Yeah, cheers to you, sister. Yeah, Patty, did you drop your link? you got a wrench for a reason. You guys need to be sharing your own shit. Everybody else does. If you got a fucking wrench, you got something to share. Doesn't mean I can always click it, but please post it, especially if it's your own stuff. B is on a fucking cleaning mood. What did you do, B? Are you smoking dope and fucking on a cleaning spree? Yeah, it was mostly a braggy Yeah, it's just fucking nuts. Continuing on with the Trump quotes. Please remember, I wrote about Osama bin Laden exactly 1 year before and said, you got to watch Osama bin Laden. They didn't do it. A year later, he blew up the World Trade Center. I'd take a little credit because no one else will give it to me. Yeah, I have to take credit because no one else will give it to me. Yeah, except for he couldn't, I don't know, I seen someone yapping about that he couldn't remember what book or whatever he put it, like, was it supposedly one of his books that he wrote about it? Or was he, like, in a book that he was just quoted in someone else's book? Even though it's a complete fabrication, here I am pounding you about where he supposedly said this shit. There's no such thing as late coffee, B. I just want to say that I really do appreciate Dave Oz. You guys know how much I love him anyways, but he's really been very respectful of my contempt for the AI poodle videos. And because of his respectfulness, I continue to let him post the links. Because that's the kind of guys Dave and I are. Thank you, Patty Whackers. I love you, sister. Putin says he made a vague reference to bin Laden in one of his books, but it wasn't a warning. Yeah, and like, how hard would it be anyways, Putin, right? Like, is it really that big of a fucking deal that somebody said bin Laden was part of a fucking terrorist or, extremist at a minimum, or, group, right? Islam, whatever. Not that Islam is extremist. I'm saying extreme forms of that. He was talking about the enemy changing all the time under Clinton. All right, I'm going to sign off too. And if Patty's up, did you post your fucking link, Patty? Come on, girl. I don't know. Is Patty live still? Or right now? I'll find her. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all your links. Thanks for listening. we're going to go over this. I'm sure I seen a more detailed version of that National Security Presidential Memorandum. I'm pissed off that the mainstream media isn't covering this, but I was a sucker. How about you guys? TV can admit it. I was a sucker. It's none of us just got 100% of our information from fucking NBC or ABC or whoever it was, right? Or however many of them, right? Like, a lot of us watch much better shit anyways for the most part, even though we might have paid attention to those networks, Democracy Now! Or PBS NewsHour, right? NPR. Again, still not necessarily in-depth conversations or, journalism, but not detailed, I should say. I shouldn't say not in-depth. I shouldn't say not always huge, long, detailed segments. So I think it sucks. It's up to us. Keep spreading the word to each other, you guys. Keep getting it out in chat. Fucking pound TV and then tater. Share this TV, share that. All right, because you know I will. And I appreciate you guys coming by like always. And I'll see you soon, all right? Peace and love. TV2 out.
Well, I got my live contentment. I don't wanna watch TV. I don't even wanna be with me. I don't wanna do anything. I don't wanna do anything, anything, anything.